let's do this. Welcome everybody back to the Trifecta. My name is Braden. I'm here with Brandi and Des on this lovely Monday evening on Canada Day. Happy Canada Day, everybody.
Happy Canada Day.
Des and her kids looked so cute today, by the way. And her husband. Shimon, I love you.
Oh, scandalous.
Back off, boy.
She'll fight you.
It's okay. I don't do married men. Sometimes.
That's probably a good plan.
This week we're actually going to do a bit of a tarot card reading with each other. Before we jump into that, we're just going to do our weekly kind of checkup on everybody and see how everybody's doing.
We're like doctors, a weekly checkup.
I know. I go, hey, I need it. I need this on a weekly basis. I'm sorry. But no, how was your guys' week this week?
Brandi, you start.
Well, I feel like everyone's gonna be like, well, here's another bad week from Brandi. No, actually, it wasn't at the beginning was like really terrible, but once I hit like, no, I'm not gonna lie, like today was good. Which is so bad. No, I think this week was like, again, just like really mentally draining, but I had like a really aggressive like self-care day today. And I just like allowed myself to sleep in as long as I wanted to. And I like colored my hair. I fixed my roots because they were so bad. And I did like some face masks and some like meditation, and did like a little bit of stretching, and I feel a lot better. So I think next week I'll have a good week and it'll be awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really refreshed, and I'm really excited about this tarot reading because I really feel like I could use that as well. So
yeah, it's a new month, so I think it's gonna be like awesome way to like start the month off. And
it's my birthday month and your birthday month.
It's our birthday month. Hey,
yeah, Cancers. And your birthday is
deal with me and my emotions.
See, and I'm like the opposite of a Cancer. I have like no emotion. It's like, yeah, I don't know. But your birthday's tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
How old are you now? Like 17?
Yeah, 17. Yeah.
Cute. I love it.
I know. I'm younger than my youngest brother. Does it work?
You're like, how does that work? I don't know. Yeah. Oh man. How was your week, Des?
This week actually I like hit a really like low, like my energy was just really low, and I don't know, like I don't know if I mentioned like on any of the other podcasts, but like going through some like stuff like with my thyroid and stuff. I don't know if it's because of that or just like some other reason, but I felt like I hit a brick wall in energy, and I just was like so exhausted, and it was hard to like get through all of the days. But my mom took Xander for 2 nights, so I just had Sebastian so I could just focus on him. And so we got through the week, and we still did like the stuff that we wanted to do. And so I felt good, and I actually was pretty productive despite feeling super tired.
Good
but
for you.
The weekend gave me energy, which was awesome. Like I threw a party for my friend who turned 30. Shout out Victor.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, dirty 30.
30 club.
And then it was Canada Day weekend. So we had a barbecue with my dad. And today we went to the farm with the kids. And it ended up being like a really great way to end the week, which was previously like had felt so tiring and like long for me. But yeah, so that was exciting.
That's good.
What about you, Braden?
It was a decent week for me personally. I felt like really accomplished with like work. I'm working towards applying for a new position within my job, and really working with like my team to try and like level myself up. So like work wise, like it was actually like really good. Personally also like pretty good as well as like outside of work. I'm really enjoying my little like Aquafit class. They're cute.
Aquafit for life.
I made a new friend. Her name's Dixie.
Oh my gosh, I
no.
love it.
Yeah, she's so cute. And literally every day she's like, "Are you coming tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there."
I'm already obsessed with her. Oh my God. Can we invite her?
Yeah. But she's super cute. And like, I don't know, it's just really good. I actually noticed because like the week before I was in Kelowna, and I didn't go to like an opposite class. And even before I went to Kelowna, like I'd only gone to like the class for about like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But noticing like that week, I mentioned it even in our last podcast, I'm pretty sure, that like I was struggling that week, like just kind of like mentally. And I really think that like the classes like really affects like my emotions, because I start off my day with it. Like I wake up, that's the first thing I do is I go to that class and do it for an hour. And so it really like boosts like me up in the day. So I'm like, it was really nice to kind of like get back into that and have it be part of my like routine again, and just have some fun. Like it's like my first time I've ever done like anything fitness wise where I'm like, hey, this is actually something I enjoy doing. So yeah,
like, it's dreading it and like this
yeah,
makes me feel terrible.
Yeah, no, like I actually like really enjoy it, and I think it'll eventually lead into like obviously like more fitness things down the road, which is like it kind of like it excites me for that. And I almost kind of want to jump the gun, but I don't want to jump the gun because I'm like, if I do it, then I'll hate it, and then I will just end up back where I was, not going and still being a gigantic person.
A gigantic, lovely person.
You're sweet.
You're sweet.
No, you're sweet, girl.
You guys, get a room.
I'm trying.
We are married.
We're already married. I don't have to try.
But no, like, so it's just nice to kind of get like back into that routine and realize that that's actually something that really does like affect my like daily like outcome, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really nice. I'm trying to get more into routine and noticing those things that really like affect like my happiness. Actually,
and motivating you.
Yeah. A friend of mine, she's actually taking a course on like social psychology and stuff. And I saw her when I was in Kelowna, and she actually gave me this really cool like worksheet. And how it's supposed to work is that it's supposed to almost kind of like be like a daily log every day, and you take it hour by hour. And what you do is you assess that hour between like, I think it's between like 1 and 5 on like how happy you were on that, based on that hour, and like what in that hour made you happy. And so that you can actually like go back and look at it a week later and see where things were good, where they were bad, and what out of like the happy things can you maybe include in more of those times that like were more down. And so like I thought that was kind of interesting because she like explained a little bit like how a scenario could have been like say you really like, say I like Grey's Anatomy for whatever reason as an example.
For whatever reason.
Because it's Grey's Anatomy and Dr. McSteamy. But where it would she would mark down that she'd like say this person had watched this show, and they actually marked down for that hour that maybe it was only like a 1, like in like the happiness on like the lower scale, even though she actually really likes that show. And she just, that person say found that the shows that she thought she liked actually weren't something that was making her happy. And so she ended up like changing the like shows that she was watching, and actually really boosted her mood and stuff like that. So I've been like trying to get my bullet journal together for the month of July. And I kind of want to include that a little bit, or like an idea of that into my journal, and try to keep track of my mood a little bit more, and try to get more of those like 4 or 5 items within my day, to try and like boost
awesome
everything. Yeah, it was a really interesting like thing. The word is but like
concept.
concept.
Yes.
that I think will be really cool to kind of like include into like my day to day.
Well, really important to focus on those like really, really small positives and hang on to those, especially if you're having like a rougher day. But going back to like working out or whatever, like I'm so glad you're saying that it's like really changing your mood and like letting yourself kind of enjoy something maybe you normally wouldn't have, because I've literally been thinking about doing boxing, like kickboxing or boxing, but I want to do like the real thing. I don't want to do like 9-round or like 30 minutes of like working out and then 5 minutes of like punching something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So like if anyone has any suggestions for like a really good boxing, like beginners class or something, like hit us up, because I would love to do that.
That'd be dope.
I would love to punch things.
I'll honestly, I'll do some research for you, because I like looking stuff up for people. And
my own personal Google.
Yeah, basically.
Hair flip.
But what hair? What hair are you talking about? But no, yeah, I definitely think that would that'd be super cool, because I know there are like boxing classes in quotations.
Yeah, I just want like the real deal. I don't want to like get into actual boxing, because I don't think like obviously I want to compete at that level, but like to do something like legitimate and like sparring and something. I feel like that would really make me feel like healthier, not only like physically, but just like mentally as well.
Totally.
Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're all good. Cool. Well, I guess we'll hand it off to Des to maybe kind of explain a little bit more of like the tarot card scenario that we're going to do today a little bit, and we'll kind of get into things.
Okay. So we're going to do a tarot card reading, which we had previously mentioned. Pretty much like the way that I view tarot would be more on a therapeutic level. Like personally, I don't like believe there's like magic per se, or like a kind of paranormal kind of thing to it. Which I guess, like, if you think about, like, there are two camps basically of tarot card readings. And the one camp is like predictive readings, which would be like like people who are claiming to be like mediums and stuff like that, trying to like predict the future, what's going to happen, that kind of thing, which is more on that paranormal side. And then there's the camp of like the intuitive readings, which to me is like more therapeutic. You're basically using the tarot cards, which is a deck of cards, and you have like a formation. You can do like a 3-card spread, or they have like different kind of formations, like a 5-card cross kind of thing. And as you're flipping them, you read the meanings and you relate that to your life. And this can kind of like lead to like a lot of healing or spiritual growth. It can offer support to people at different times of their life. And most of all for me, like it promotes mindfulness and self-awareness, just kind of like a way for me to check back in with myself, because when somebody flips that card, they read you like the meaning or whatever, and you kind of have to fit that into what you're thinking of right now in your life. And that same card can mean something completely different to somebody else. But it doesn't mean that it's any less meaningful, or that it's not going to bring out kind of like a spiritual enlightenment or just a self-awareness that you weren't previously aware of. And my favorite part is that like pretty much like tarot card readings can give you like a vision of what your future like possibly could hold. It's not reading your future, but you can kind of see things in a different light, because you might not have considered that perspective if you didn't pull that specific card. So you're seeing this different like perspective of maybe an idea that you thought that you were dwelling on from one angle, you're seeing it from another angle, and you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I have another solution for this issue that has been mulling around, and you're able to move forward in a different way. So it gives you some more options. You gain like useful information that was like right under the surface, and like, I don't know, pretty much like makes you consider the cause and effect of your actual choices after you leave that reading. So you're more mindful of what you're choosing going forward. But I'm going to hand it off to Brandi because she's going to be our reader for today. So she's going to talk about kind of like the formation that we're going to use.
Yeah, go ahead, Braden. What are you going to say?
Oh, no. I was just going to say, I like just totally agree with like your views on it. I totally see it the same way. And I'll never forget the one time we did like the reading right before I moved out to BC, because it was like, I had been kind of hemming and hawing about it. And then like the cards were all like, do it. And I was like, okay.
I'm listening, universe. I'm listening.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel very strongly. About there's such a negative stigma attached to anything sort of paranormal or like that would seem like witchcrafty. And I feel like tarot kind of falls under that. And I grew up in like a pretty conservative family, and I grew up in like a super Christian household. So for me, I found the tarot kind of just on accident. I was actually looking at some books at like chapters, and I came across a tarot like package. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it just spoke to me. So for anyone who doesn't know anything about tarot, it is not witchcraft. For me, it is. I feel like I have to specify. I don't know why. It is such an important part of my mental healing. I usually actually meditate for 10, 15 minutes before I start a reading, because I do feel really connected to myself, and I feel connected just to kind of like my inner being. And I'm going to sound super kooky, but I'm totally okay with that. So yeah, I usually meditate, and I really focus on what I want to kind of hear from the cards. So if it's like a specific situation, or if it's a specific question, when I'm doing my own personal readings, I like to do that. Anyone who is looking to get into tarot, the best process is to be gifted tarot cards. I did that the wrong way. I bought my own tarot cards.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. And to be honest, like I feel relatively connected to them, but I don't love them. And I feel like you should love your cards. So I will gift to you for your birthday, Braden, a pack of tarot cards if you want them.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes, we can pick them out and I'll send them out. It'll be good.
We'll do the same.
Yeah, we should.
Perfect,
okay,
done.
Yes, amazing. Anyway,
complete.
Little bunny trail. So what we're going to do today is I've chosen the Cross of Truth spread. It is basically a really big focus on something specific. A lot of the different types of spreads are for specific reasons or for different reasons. The spread is just focusing on one either theme or question that you have that you've been mulling over in your life quite a bit. So it is a 5-card spread. What we're going to do is we're going to lay out each card. I'll describe each the order of each card, and we can go from there in regards to what each card means for us. So if you guys want to start thinking about something that's like really been kind of stirring your soul a little bit, maybe a question that you have that you would like answered, or maybe just a little bit more guidance, begin to think of those things, because we obviously don't have 10 minutes to meditate today. And we'll go from there. I won't
sit here quietly for 10 minutes on the podcast.
Yes. That wouldn't be super
Stay with
awkward.
us, people. Stay with us.
Just play like really trippy music in the background.
Welcome. No, I'm just kidding. While we're doing this, I will just shuffle the cards. What I like to do as well, just for my own personal readings, is touching the cards is a big thing. Really creating a connection with your cards as you're thinking about your question, because I do believe that it is. I'm saying a lot. I need to stop. It is leading you to the cards that should be right for you. So I
feel like it's like an empowerment thing, right? Like
it really is. Yes. I just
the
hate
empowerment of like, I chose this. I felt the vibe.
My fingertips always feel kind of weird, and that sounds super crazy, but like my fingertips always feel weird. Yeah. All right. Did you guys want to share what you're thinking about beforehand, or as the cards pop up? Maybe as they pop up?
Yeah, because I'm not even sure. I always have like a vague idea, but it's not like a specific thing ever. So
yeah, I'm on the same page right now, because I'm just kind of all over the place. I just kind of want to see where they
for me,
lead.
like I just like see what speaks to me from the card, and then that's usually what I go with.
Yeah.
Before we even start pulling cards, there are 2 cards that I get every single reading.
Really?
How many are there in the deck right now? I think there's over 70 in a deck. I always get the Lovers card and the Death card. So death is like the end of something and the beginning of something else. And the Lovers card is like, it's not actually like lovers, it's just like relationships and that kind of thing. So that's something that happens to me a lot.
I always get the priest, the high priest or something like that.
High priestess? Yeah.
Not the priestess. I always get the priest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see what pops up if we get any of those. I'm terrified.
And we're sharing one. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure something that always, whenever we've done readings, is the cups always come up.
Yeah, you always get cups. And I think it'll be interesting because like we were talking about, like every perspective will see the cards differently. And so it's really neat because in the past, we have always like done tarot cards together, but had our individual reads. Whereas now we're going to share this one and just see how these same cards are kind of like interpreted, like by us individually, but the same pull, right? I think it's going to be so cool.
I'm
so stoked. First one, the Death card.
Listen, and people are always terrified of the Death card because they're like, oh my gosh, like someone I know is going to die or I'm going to die. And I'm like, no.
But that's also like the thinking of like where people are saying like, oh, this is like devil worship and stuff. And like predictive, like that's the predictive readings, is when you're thinking it's like this magical telling you of the future. That's not the case. Death is supposed to represent new beginnings, right? 100%. Like in the tarot.
Okay, so I'm just going to hold up the cards. I know you guys can't see them, but we are going to. Des, do you want to tell me where to split the card deck?
I'll do 1/3 down.
1/3 down.
There we go.
Okay, amazing. Okay.
Your face is so serious. They're amazing.
I take my job very seriously. Okay, so the 5-card spread, the first card position is actually just showing your present position and the base from which you are working in relation to your question. So this is just like the most basic present kind of context. So our first card is the 2 of Pentacles. I'm just going to quickly find this in my book here because I'm not super knowledgeable just yet. So for us, let me know. The 2 of Pentacles represents the effort needed to successfully maintain a balance in life. This can be trying to keep more than one project going simultaneously, a balance of home and work, or even juggling finances. Care is needed to maintain balance to ensure everything progresses smoothly and flows harmoniously. The signs are good that this can be attained. So the basis of the card is really just balance and life balance. Okay. Go.
So for me, like in general, like I'm just kind of thinking of like what we were talking about before, like our question to ourselves or whatever, what we're kind of meditating on. My thing was about like, what do I want to kind of move forward into, like as an interest, whether it's a career or like a passion, like what am I pursuing going forward? And so that card kind of like speaks to me personally about how like I've been trying to see where those passions lie and the balance between being able to do the things that I do have passion for and see which of those things would maybe be a path I could pursue more into like something that will bring in finances, right? Like, because of course, who doesn't want to do their passion as their job, right? Like, like I wouldn't say like a career that I'm looking for a career, but maybe something that like I could do that could also help with that. And then also like balancing like life. Like last week I had a hard week where I felt really low energy, but I still was really struggling to like make sure I was doing the things that I love with my kids, like making sure that we were doing some activities and I was like nurturing them in some way, and then just balancing the everyday responsibilities, as well as like trying to get in some me time, and then the podcast, and like doing all these things that I really care about, and like balancing them all, like kind of juggling them on my shoulders. So that's the first thing I thought of with that card.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm kind of like on the same page for myself. I've been kind of getting more I've been really devoted to like work, and I've been trying to like find more things for like me to do. When I first moved out to like BC, like one of the things I was looking forward to is kind of like refinding myself again, because I kind of stopped my hobbies when I was in Winnipeg, and so I was kind of trying to find those again. So I'm trying to, for me, like the balance is finding all of these extra things that I'm kind of taking on at work, and trying to like also move up at work, plus also taking on like all of these certain things outside of work that are I'm trying to kind of get myself into, and like I'm trying to make sure that like one isn't overtaking the other, and it's hard for me because like I work from home, right? So it's hard not to like say continue working when I'm off or whatever. So I think it's really like kind of flowing with how I'm like again doing this like this aquafit class and finding that balance for me outside of work and like helping me get like to a better place. So I think it really kind of like speaks towards like those two balances there.
I don't think I'll reveal what I was thinking just yet, but I feel very, very similarly to you guys in regards to just finding more of a balance. I'm very, very work oriented right now, and I'm not doing anything else besides working and then coming home and sleeping or eating and then going to shower and then getting up and doing it all over again. And I think this podcast specifically, having a little bit of a break from that, really refocusing myself on like my writing and getting into this boxing thing. If I can find something, like I just need something else to wake me up, because I feel like there's a complete imbalance of work. And I think that's where a big majority of my past 3 weeks of just like awfulness has been from. I think it's just a lack of balance, and just really more focusing on the work and negative things. And I think I need to focus a little bit more on the positive. So I think that's why I feel such a fresh mindset today. Cause I'm like, nope, we're going to change the ship and turn it around.
Yeah.
That's back to Winnipeg.
Oh my gosh. Just back to the old me. Cause I felt very disconnected from myself, I think the past few weeks. So I think getting
you had the need for balance.
I do. Oh gosh, I need it so badly. All right.
I think we all do.
Yeah, right. I was like, that's a perfect card kind of, because we're all really, using this as like a new tool. And I think it's really beneficial for us. And maybe just a reminder to find balance.
Even like for the listeners, like, because who doesn't that speak to, right? Like who isn't trying to find a balance for themselves? Like, I feel like everybody is always continuously being like, okay, well, I love doing this. And like, I had fun when I did this. Oh, back to work. It's Monday. And then they have like, you have these different things. So like everybody is kind of in that place where they're like, okay, how can I balance it where I'm not feeling like the low as low because I'm balanced with everything else. And I feel just content, I feel like everybody could like really get that kind of thing.
On board with that card.
Well, and I also kind of like, I was just thinking about it now, but like part of like the whole trifecta and like the triangle is that the triangle is equally balanced on every side, right? So I kind of like how that kind of ties into the podcast as we're doing this as a group thing, which is so funny. So I think that's really kind of a neat perspective behind it as well.
We all like kind of like help balance each other out.
Yeah.
Okay. We're getting into this here.
We're getting deep real fast.
Real deep, real quick. Oh, man. Okay. Our second card is going to be how you really feel about the situation. Also think about how in tune this card is with the other cards that are going to eventually pop up. Is it in conflict with your other cards, or is it in agreement with kind of what you're seeing with the new cards coming up? If the card is positive and the other cards are negative, it could be that you're not in tune with what your situation really is as well. So the second card is essentially like your hopes and fears for the situation. And we have the 8 of Wands. Now, normally this card is actually upside down. And I don't normally play that way. I don't normally make that assumption of the upside down being negative, just because, again, each situation is super different. So I don't think we'll focus too much on the fact that it's upside down. All right. So the 8 of Wands, if you have experienced setbacks or delays, then the 8 of Wands will be a welcome sight, for this card always brings a swift moving energy into play. With this card comes a sudden burst of activity and excitement following the arrival of good news. The 8 of Wands can also represent travel, often by air.
Interesting.
That's what I want to hear.
So when are you guys coming out?
Yeah, right. I was like, am I going to
really focusing on...
Are you guys surprising me? My birthday's tomorrow. Are you guys going to be here tomorrow? Are you okay?
Just teleporting out. Don't even worry about it. Oh man. I'm super excited to hear the swift moving energy coming in and like activity and excitement, because I need that and I'm ready for it. And I think and we can create it too, right? Like it doesn't have to be just waiting for something. You can make it happen for yourself.
Yeah. Totally. So I think let's do Braden. You go first, because
sure. I think for like myself, it definitely kind of like pertains to, again, trying to like with the balance and trying to be more active myself. It's actually kind of funny that card comes up today, because even with like work, we're doing this like incentive, and it's like this wellness initiative, and so it's trying to get us to do certain things that can help with our wellness. So like a social event, or actually going to work out for a certain amount of time, or doing something creative, something to help with like your general like overall wellness. So like, again, this podcast is something that I considered part of that, because it's a social thing between me and you. It's something that I get to do that's creative. And then I just think about like working out and kind of getting more active and like things kind of progressing with that. So I think like that's kind of interesting that come up. So, but I'm not traveling anywhere anytime soon, so don't get any ideas.
So many money.
Just show up at your house again? Perfect.
Yeah. So for me, when I heard good news right away, I thought about like Jen's baby, and like she just had that baby. So that was like a big good news thing. And I am very excited that like she's on mat leave right now, and like I'll get to spend like some more time with her throughout the summer. And I feel like that will be something that will like kind of like heighten my excitement for this next little part of like the summer future.
Summer future.
But also like I've been slowly like planning some changes, like just in our lifestyle, with just small little changes, but I think that will like help us, like, and specifically me, like with the thyroid issues and stuff, like finding some different like exercises and stuff that I can do as well. Like I'm hoping to like pick up doing yoga and like using tension bands and stuff for exercise.
Yoga is such a good idea.
I'm hoping that will help increase my energy and like sustain that for like the ongoing future, hopefully. And that I feel like will also burst into the rest of my life. Like that will affect all, like my energy will affect all the different aspects of my life, like the passions, the responsibilities, all like how I approach all of that. So I'm hoping that that will be a good thing going into my future. So that's what the card to me speaks to.
I didn't even think about like when it talks about like activity and excitement, like our birthdays are coming up and I don't normally do like a whole lot. So like, I'm really excited just to like see people I haven't seen. And my favorite thing is getting all of my favorite people together. That's like my favorite thing. So to be able to have like all of my people together, that's really exciting for me too. So, yeah. All right. Number 3, I'm super good with these segues. Number 3 is helpful matters. So in regards to the situation, this card shows what is or will be working in your favor in relation to your question or subject. So let's have a look and see. This is the Strength card.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've actually never had this card before. Let's see. So a little bit of a breakdown with the Strength card. The lion is considered to be the king of the jungle and a potent symbol of male energy. Yet the gentle maiden appears to have him tamed. He walks beside her, held merely by a loose chain around his neck, which she handles lightly. So the interpretation is feminine qualities such as patience and diplomacy, combined with courage, will achieve the required results and bring success. The Strength card reveals that you have a reserve of inner strength that provides you with more power than you realize. This can be expressed through quiet determination. This card can also symbolize feminine charms to which men succumb. So it is particularly strong in a woman's reading regarding relationships. That was my subject, by the way, because
Really?
I'm 5. I'm just like really struggling with relationships. Like I feel like I'm very accomplished on my own, and I would like to share that with somebody else. So yeah,
there you go.
Somebody else talk about it. I'm freaked out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it totally pertains to me too. Like I had kind of said earlier today before we started, like I recently kind of started talking to someone, and I ended up actually like today deleted like all of my dating apps. So it's kind of crazy that that's something like as well. And like, because we've talked before, like that's all I want to, right, is someone to share things with. So I think like that's super interesting. And then again, I also think of it as like a whole for the podcast as a group, like having those relationships with you guys. I definitely think like our relationships are definitely growing through doing this. So I think it's really interesting that like kind of comes up as well.
So weird.
That's awesome. I think that's really it applies to, like, for me, it applies to like that card kind of like speaks to me in a different way, in the way like it's supposed, like it's what's working in my favor. I think right away, like she's tamed this thing, right? So she's got strength because she's tamed something, which right away I'm thinking of like getting this thyroid issue under control. And also like because of some of the stuff that I'm going through, like for a little while, I had like some issues controlling, what's that noise? I had some issues like controlling, I guess I would say like my temper. And I don't mean it in like a way where I was like screaming all the time, but like it was just really easy to like trigger. And then I would like snap about something, and then I'd have to go back and like correct it, because I'm very much not that type of person. So like I'd have to go back and I'd feel horrible, and then I'd have to go and feel like I have to correct the issue. And lately I've been really feeling more balanced, but like I've been working really hard on being super patient and like say with the kids, like really, instead of like snapping and being like, Xander, don't do that thing that I told you a million times not to do. I will like, I'm back to like where I'm kneeling down to his level and like telling him to look at my eyes, and like, we're going to talk about this. And I know you're really frustrated, and like, I understand that that's a horrible feeling to feel, like, let's talk about it. And like, I feel like I'm really taming that like beast that was there that I was like,
right.
Oh God, what's happening to me? Like, I don't know. I felt like I was a bit lost in all of that for a while. So for me, when I heard that card right away, I was like, I feel like I'm taming some of these struggles that I've had, and that I'm getting strength from achieving that. So that's what I thought of. That might be working for me. Helpful matters.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. I think we are on number 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 4 is, I lost my page. I'm so sorry. Okay.
I can hear Jovi in the background.
The cats are loud today. Jovi, go away. All right. Number four is the challenges. Nobody wants to share their voice with you, Jovi. I sound like a crazy cat lady now.
He's cute. It's fine.
Number four is the challenges. So this card in the position of challenges show if there are any opposing energies preventing you from achieving what you're hoping for. Don't be misled if a positive card appears here. Sometimes the circumstances surrounding the meaning of the card actually create an obstacle. So this would be any sort of challenges in your way. And we have the Sun, which seems kind of like a positive card. Let's see what we got going here.
Something happened. Technical difficulties.
I think the cat's freaking out.
Sorry, I had to go tame the beast.
It was the Sun.
It was the Sun. Sorry. So the Sun is the most positive card in the tarot.
Top notch.
The most?
It says the most positive card in the tarot. For it brings happiness, success, and triumphs, excellent relationships, a happy marriage, contentment, prosperity, and good health. Well, that's going to be a terrible thing to deal with. The Sun tends to shine favorably upon any situation. When this card is present, it is most important to make the most of its favorable aspects, which is not a challenge at all. Or maybe it's a challenge to accept.
But if you look at it in a different perspective, right? Because we're looking at it in the perspective of if this is a challenge, for me, I would say that so striving, like we have these goals in our minds, right? Even when we're doing this tarot card, we have in our mind either a wish or a goal we want to achieve or hear from the cards. So I feel like the challenge could be in that we don't want to set the bar too high or like think that, oh, we're going to like achieve this perfect picture that might be in our head, because it's not always that squeaky clean, perfect thing. Like me personally, like when I think like, say, like what I was talking about, like trying to find, something that speaks to me in my passions, that might also bring like financial like gain in there. I'm always like, so this has always been a struggle for me. It's why I've never had like a clear-cut career goal in mind. The one thing I was always positive about was that I always wanted to be a mom, and I couldn't wait to do that. But other than that, when it comes to my passions and kind of like doing it as like what I do in life, like I always feel so lost because I can't pick. So I feel like I'm always looking for this perfect thing that I'm like, I need it to fit me perfectly for me to say that this is what I want to like use all my time and energy to go towards. I want it to be perfect. And I recently have been like, you know what? I just have to take some chances on some ideas eventually. And I can't just wait for it to be perfect or the perfect time, because a lot of the things in my life that I struggle with are things that I'm waiting till it's perfect, till I feel like it's the perfect time. And I think that would be my challenge if I was like looking at this and it's saying it's all picture, oh, this beautiful stuff, like sun is perfect, it's the most positive. That's what I'm looking for. And you don't always get that. So you do have to take the chances, I would say anyways.
No, I definitely like 100% agree with you on that. Like, it's like spot on. I probably wouldn't have explained it like as good as that, but like that's exactly how I feel about it. Like in regards to like kind of everything in general for me right now. So yeah. Well, I'm like kind of like mind boggled right now.
Well, and I was like, now that you said it like that, my like not question, but my topic was like love and relationships. So I guess you're always looking for that perfect person or like that perfect moment or that perfect interaction or whatever the case may be. And I think I need to maybe not focus so much on it being perfect.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Well,
Obviously,
I think that's good advice.
but I don't want to just like
reading these cards.
I just like I have been single forever, my whole life, and I don't want to just like jump into a relationship for the sake of having one. And I feel like I'm a pretty okay kid, so I feel like I don't want to just like date anybody. Like I obviously want to make sure that they're appreciating the relationship as well. But I think, yeah, with this card, it's like, just be careful of it, like looking too good or being too perfect. Maybe just being a little bit more mindful of that. So that could be, now that you said it that way, I was like, oh my God, what? So yeah. What? Amazing. Okay. So let's cruise right into this last card here. The fifth card is the outcome card. So essentially, the final card will provide the answer or advice that you need, but always read it in relation to the other cards. So connect them all kind of together. We've been really lucky. We've gotten a lot of positive cards, and they've all kind of interwoven together. So I think that's really great. Let's flip this card over here. Okay. All right. This is the, I just want to show you guys that this is the Lovers card.
That's the one that you always get, eh?
That one or the Death card. Yeah. I have to look this up here. Give me 1 second.
It's really interesting that we didn't get like.
I feel like it's. I'm gonna guess about the card, and I'm gonna guess that it's like a partnership.
Probably.
As often as I have it, I can't remember what it means. Okay, here. The image of this card portrays far more than mere words could hope to convey. Simply speaking, it represents human love and relationships. Here we have the harmony of the combined polarities, male and female, the perfect union expressed through love. For me, the artwork of this card finally portrays the lovers in the actuality that our human condition naturally desires. In older versions of this card, the lovers are often depicted with 3 people and indicated choices, with the possible reference to the temptation of a third party. Yet, with regard to this choice, the area of love and relationships is perhaps one of the biggest arenas in which we experience personal growth and challenges as we seek to harmonize ourselves with another. As such, our relationships represent choices all the way through. This could be the choice of becoming involved in a new romance or choosing to make a commitment in an existing relationship. That's us. Such as marriage, or in a solid relationship, making choices that will affect both partners. The Lovers is a positive card unless badly aspected, and surrounding cards will clarify what situation is being faced.
Go ahead, you guys.
I don't want to talk about it.
No,
you go. No. Well, clearly, I guess this is, I mean, like less about like, oh, you're going to find the right person, and more like you're just like solidifying your relationships. And for me, I actually recently put a post on my Facebook, just like thanking the people in my life and like thanking the people for being there. My kids at work have been phenomenal because I've been a cranky asshole at work, and I just like am trying to hide it. However, they can see right through me, and they've just been really supportive and checking in and really positive. And then obviously my friends, they've been super, super supportive, and just, again, continuing to support and like help me through, even though I haven't like really gone through everything yet. They, even me consistently being cranky, and like I've just been a really sad human for the past couple of weeks, and everyone's just continuously stood by me throughout everything. And I think that's what my card for sure is, just strengthening those bonds and reminding me again that like I do love people and I have really good people in my life. So that's really important to me. So yeah, less about like finding the one versus like I'm finding the one in all of you. So yeah. Braden?
I don't know, because my general like topic for this was just kind of like, what's going on? Is everything that I'm doing kind of like good right now? So it kind of just like reiterates that a little bit for me. Like when it's like, and it talks about like the 3 and like the options there, I think about, and like I think about us doing this and then the relationships that we're building, as well as like just in general being open to like new relationships outside of that as well. So I don't know. I just like I think it's kind of like a perfect tie-in for like everything that I was kind of like thinking about, and just kind of reassured me that like everything that it's happening right now is kind of like is a good thing, and that like we're going somewhere with it, and just kind of like to stay positive about it going forward. So I'm like, I don't know, like I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. For me, I already have Shimon, so I'm not looking at it as like a meeting.
Wait,
like, you know, although like we have, like, if I were going to look at it that way, I would probably just take note that like lately I've been just really proud of how we have been communicating, because like I was saying, I did have some struggles with like my energy and my mood for a little while. And he's such a supportive like person in my life. Like I'm so grateful for him. So just that communication, I would like just be like, well, yeah, it's a good match. So that would make sense in that way. But I think more so because my kind of like what I was thinking of for this reading is like, where will or can I go, like when it comes to like where my passions can take me, right? I've been trying to do a lot of things that make me happy and then see what I'm gravitating towards. And very much so, I can like, it's very obvious to me that like the most important thing to me is my connections with people, is like when I can, and for me, like love is the point of life. So even if I am like friends with somebody, like I genuinely have love for those people. Even if like somebody has been in my life for just a quick season, I still think of people often. And like, thanks to like social media, like you still have like some connections and stuff. So every once in a while, like make a connection again. And then also randomly, it made me think of the fact that like, so I love doing stuff with my kids. It's like, that is one of my hugest passions. I love kids. I love their development. I love, you know, curating different kind of activities to be able to help them develop in different ways. And watching that is just so amazing to me. So I really enjoy it's like some people might think this is so mundane and like plain, but like play dates and like meeting other moms and connecting with them while my kids connect with their kids and like different things like that. And so there was this app that came up in one of my Facebook groups, and it's like Tinder, but for moms.
Oh my God. What is it called? I hope it's called Momder or something.
It's called Peanut.
Of course it is.
Like,
I love
you
it.
Swipe and like you see what the ages their kids are and like maybe what area that they live in and a little bit about them. And you decide if you want to like swipe up or swipe down, and then they can connect with you. And I've made a few connections, and it made me like really excited again to like I have other mom friends that I do mom dates too with, but it reignited that excitement for me again to like get going into like, it's summertime. So it's like a little extra time, like preschool is out. So I have extra time to make those connections. And that's something I really enjoy. So I've also been thinking like pursuing that kind of passion, like probably would take me into, again, something like starting my own little like in-house daycare or something like those kind of things are really interesting to me. But again, like I said in one of those previous cards, I was always like, but is it perfect for me? Like this could happen. Like it might be hard and stuff like that. And then I like put it off to the side for a bit. And so I feel like I'm constantly struggling with myself back and forth. And it's the same thing with this read, right? Because it is essentially these tarot cards are you're telling yourself these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what immediately kind of struck me. And I thought that was like me, the Lover's card is like saying like you should be focusing on those human connections and moving towards that. And if you're looking for that as an answer, here's your answer. Like you're asking where your passions are taking you. Your passions are taking you this direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying. I guess the cards are like I'm telling myself with the cards to cheer myself on.
It's a little like reminder from the universe, right?
Yeah.
I think this podcast was even like a little sneaky passion of yours that came up out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For like all of us.
I can connect with people. I feel like I love it. I feel like you can see your own, it's like tarot cards, meeting people and connecting with people, like aside from just a superficial hello and like kind of like that cordialness, if that's a word, like it's like tarot cards in the way that you meet these people and you see things and you admire it about them, right? Or even maybe you don't like something about somebody, but it's like what you think reflecting back onto yourself. And then you kind of see the world through a different lens, every person you meet, because it's adding to your perception, every single person that you meet. So it's so important to me and it's so interesting to me. So like those human connections are just like at the top.
I had never ever I'd never heard of podcasts. I had never listened to a podcast, nothing ever before this, except for somebody I know started a podcast, and he was just like, one day he was like, oh, I'm just going to do a podcast. And he had like the video and he has like the sound, but he had such important content. I'm going to plug him real quick. I think it's Justin, Black Coffee with Ice. He has the most interesting guests on his podcast. They are from different walks of life. He just brings on one person at a time and they just talk about one specific topic. And it is the most interesting and important content. And I'm just like, and now I'm thinking about it. He's probably like, oh my gosh, you're copying me. But like, I was just like so blown away by like because he's kind of a younger guy too. So like the intellect within the content, and he's talking about such important things. And for me, I'm just like, I need more people to listen to his podcast and be more like him, because it's so important for the younger generation coming up to have passion for these things. So like kudos to him for getting that going. And like, I kind of reflect on that a lot as we're talking, because I just feel like he has such important things to say. And I also want to kind of reflect that as much as I can here. But yeah, I just like his. I mean, I should maybe talk to him first. I feel weird now because I was just thinking about, as we were talking, I was thinking about it and I was like, yeah, I keep thinking about how important his content is and how important the people he has on his podcast are. They have a lot to say and a lot of really important things. And he has video attached to his podcast as well. So if anyone's looking for another podcast, it's called Black Coffee with Ice. It is exceptional. And everyone should check it out. It's amazing.
Well, and that's like another thing about human connection too, right? Like you're so inspired by this person that you know. And like that's what, like, it's just on so many different levels that human connection, like just makes such a huge difference in your life if you choose to look at it in those like positive perspectives.
And I hope he knows. Yeah, I hope he knows how important like he is to his listeners and how much he's like really affecting people because of the topics he's choosing to kind of highlight. So yeah, I feel kind of like inadequate sometimes because I'm like, what are we even talking about? But every topic is important, I'm assuming.
No, totally.
Oh man.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. I don't know. I think I really needed that for myself. I was like, I just kind of needed something kind of to reel in like my thoughts a little bit and kind of get me started fresh for like the month kind of going forward and even into like a new year again, right? Like my birthday's tomorrow. So like just kind of like thinking of all that like as a whole. So I think I really needed this today. So it's like awesome.
Yeah. I like what you were saying, like kind of like organizing like your thoughts. And that's what's so great about like tarot cards in the way that we're using them in a therapeutic like way. It's like how it is that your own intuition is like influencing the messages and images that you're seeing. It's like the Rorschach things. You like look at this picture and like, what does this say to you? It's like, it's something that's like just below your consciousness. Like you are aware of these things, but you might not think of them like on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't seem important. So it's just kind of like under the surface until somebody dredges it out. And those cards are doing that. And so it's so nice to just like get all that like jumbled thoughts in your brain, like picked out and then sorted out for you. And like, that's what was just under the surface. So like I love that. It makes me feel so much lighter that I feel organized. Like cleaning your house, you feel like fresh, right?
Yes. And I think being able to meditate beforehand, it really does kind of center you, and it just gives you some quiet time, because I think everything is so loud nowadays. Everything is just so constantly bombarded with everything. And I think to have some quiet time to yourself, just to like recharge and kind of recenter, it's really important for sure. Yeah. Oh, before I forget, can I just do a quick shout out?
Yeah. Of course you can.
Is that okay? I don't want to like name this person, but actually, do you guys remember last podcast we were talking about the sensory deprivation?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So oddly enough, literally an hour after we posted that podcast, I received an email from somebody, and they sent me an hour of sensory deprivation.
I'm so excited for you.
It was the sweetest.
So I like ugly cried. It was so embarrassing. But yeah, so just speaking of like connections and human connections, it's like one of the nicest things that anyone has ever done for me. So to this person, thank you. You know who you are. I love you. And you made me ugly cry, and I never cry. So you can hang on to that. It was so nice. Sweet. Oh gosh, I just so guys, whenever you want to go. We'll go.
Awesome. Well, we should probably wrap it up here.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody coming back and listening this week. And if you're just finding us, welcome again. We'll be here next Sunday, hopefully, depending on the schedules. But no, today was really awesome. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weeks. And we'll chat later.
Yes. Take care. Bye.
Damn boy with that money, got that cheddar.